Right. All right, so you've got 2 blocks, you've got a blanket. Let's go ahead and stack your 2 blocks, one on top of each other. And you're just gonna come to a seat on your knees. So you're gonna stack your 2 blocks, 1, 2, like lowest height, like so. And you're gonna place them in between your feet and just sit right on top of those blocks. I don't have my blocks with me here, but you'd sit just like this. Perfect. Awesome. And then go ahead and bring your hands to the top of your thighs. And sit up nice and tall. Maybe even shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. And take a deep breath out. Let them fall down and back. Maybe do that one more time. Take a deep breath in. Shrug your shoulders up. And a deep breath out. Let them fall. And you can stay here just for a few breaths, maybe even bringing one hand to your belly to notice your breath. Physically start to like anchor to it. As your eyes become just a little bit heavier, can you draw inward a little bit more? Starting to tune the noise around you out just a little bit so you can tune into how you're feeling, where you're at, maybe really and truly what it is that you need in this moment. And before you go anywhere or start to move, I just want you to take the moment to pause and just acknowledge or honor yourself for showing up again. For making that space in your day to create that space in your body, in your breath. And maybe even a little bit of space in your mind where you can just set things down and be right where you are, just as you are. And know that is enough. So take that big breath in to lean into what's there. And take your breath out to let it be clearing, maybe just lessen the load. And that might feel a little heavy, whether it's a to-do list or a feeling. And that something weighs on your mind. And take that 2 more times, deep breath in to lean in. And a deep breath out to let go. One more like that, all the way to the top. And find that ease on your exhale. And then keeping your hands on your thighs here, start to just lift your chest and your chin, thinking like cow pose. And then exhale to maybe send your fingertips further forward towards your knees and round your upper back, chin towards your chest. Rounding just a little bit more. One more like that. Inhale, start to drag the fingertips back, hug the elbows in, lift the chest, lift the chin. And then exhale, so nice. Start to round your upper back, glide the fingers forward, drop your chin to your chest. Now start to rise up onto your knees. You can keep the blocks where they are between your feet. And start to reach your hands all the way up to the sky. Take a full breath in. And then just grab your right hand to your left wrist. Find a little bit of a tug, drawing that left wrist up away from your left knee. Now keep that space, tip over to the right. And then come back up through center, and then you switch. First, I want you to reach up away from your knee, like straight up. And then exhale to over to the left. And then back up through center. Release the hands. Take a huge inhale. Start to take your hands behind you. You'll just start to interlace your fingers. Press your thumbs towards your sacrum. And then squeeze your elbows back in space. And we need to lift through the chest a little bit more. But try not to let the ribs just splay forward. Can you still almost thread them together? Maybe straighten the arms, but it's not a requirement. Take one more breath in. Now, as you exhale, you can keep that bind, sit back on those blocks, but this time drop your head towards the ground. Almost like child's pose, but your hips are elevated a little bit more. Stay here, a full breath in. Can you lift the heads of your shoulders away from the ground? So nice, and then a deep breath out to empty. And then release that bind. Just take those two blocks, place them at the top of your mat, and then you'll come right into tabletop pose. And I know we've spent a lot of time on our knees, so we won't be here too long. But start to tuck your toes under and then shift the weight back. So think feet towards your heels. Maybe you get a little bit deeper of a stretch in the back of the ankles, maybe the bottom of the feet. And then shift the weight forward. Think shoulders slightly beyond your wrists. Do that one more time. Keep the toes tucked, drive the feet back, and then send the heart forward. So that little bit of rocking, starting to create a little bit more mobility in the wrists, in the ankles, and then come back to neutral. Start to tuck your toes even more, lift your knees, float your hips up and back. Downward facing dog, keeping soft knees here. You can pedal the feet. Shake out the head. Soften the elbows. Don't let them lock. And take a huge inhale to stay. Bigger exhale, you empty. And then bend your knees a lot here. Walk your hands back towards your feet. You'll just land in that ragdoll pose, nice and easy. You let everything hang. If you want to sway, of course, you sway side to side. And then slowly find the middle and just one vertebra at a time. You might even soften your knees a little more so you can find that isolation as you slowly rise to the top. Flip your palms forward. Feel the collarbones expand. Chest expands. And then you'll take that big breath in. Maybe even open up your mouth, letting out that audible sigh, finding that ease. Do that one more time. Deep inhale. Long exhale. And you'll start to reach your hands all the way up to the sky. Huge breath in. And then sit right into chair pose, firing up the legs. So keep your toes pointing forward, your feet driving back, your fingertips reaching up from your ears. And then take one more inhale. Can you lift your heart a little higher? And then exhale, think reaching forward first, then fold forward. Take your halfway lift. And then walk your hands back to downward facing dog. Once you're there, I want you to lift your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. You can roll the ankle, wiggle the toes, wake them up. Take one more big breath in right here, and then look to your right thumb, step your right foot there. I want you to drop your left knee down, reach the hands high, big breath in. And then right hand to your left wrist, lean over to the right. Come back up through center, reach both hands high. Now grab your two blocks. You'll see my invisible blocks here. I want you to pull your hips back and take your blocks about halfway. So you can really press down through the hands and lift your heart. So think halfway lift, but reaching your sternum forward. And your right leg can be long, but it doesn't have to be locked here. Finding a half split. So take that breath in to stay. And a breath out to empty. Now we're going to take your blocks with you. Bend back into your right knee. Let those blocks frame your foot. Tuck your back toes. Lift your left knee off the ground. Now look forward. And we're going to take your blocks in your hands with you. Take them forward slightly to lift your back leg up halfway. So finding warrior 3, but hands will be on blocks. So think of your body like the letter T, but your base, you can start to bend through the knee, soften that knee. Think about reaching the crown of your head forward. Take one more breath in. Now I want you to slowly start to bend both knees. Tap left knee behind the right. We call this Shiva squat. Now slowly start to pick your hands up off those blocks. I know your right leg is talking to you, but bring your hands to your heart. And we need to slowly stand up, hug the left knee towards your chest. And then set the left foot down. Arms down along your sides, mountain pose. Now you're at the top of your mat. Shrug your shoulders as you inhale. Open your mouth as you empty, let them fall. Start to sweep the arms back up. Take a big breath in, you'll rise. Right here, you'll sit into chair pose. Stay for the breath in. Sink a little bit lower. Hook the thumbs and take the elbows wide. So like you're creating the letter O around your head. One more breath in. And a big breath out, fold forward. Take your halfway lift, heart forward. Plant the hands. You can move the blocks if they're in the way. And we're going to step both feet back to plank pose. Take a huge inhale. And then just drop your left knee down, spin your right heel down, reach right arm high. Take a big inhale to open up. And then reach your right hand forward, modified side plank. If you want to float the right leg, of course you can. Take one more big breath in, and then lower your right hand back down to the ground, tabletop pose. Come right into cow, lift your chest on an inhale. And then round your back, find cat as you exhale. Come into neutral. Tuck your toes. Shift the weight back. And then rock the weight forward, just like you did before. One more like that. Shift the weight back, keeping the toes tucked under, and then shift the weight back forward. Now find neutral, float the knees, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Huge breath in, bigger breath out. And start to walk your hands back towards your feet. So now you're at the back of your mat. Halfway lift right away this time. And exhale, fold forward, drop the head. Press through the feet. This time, sweep the arms all the way out and up. Reach up. You get to sit right into chair pose. So a little bit more flow here. Take a breath in. Sink on your exhale. One more breath in to lift the heart. Now think about reaching your hands forward. Hinge at the waist. Keep that long line. Then fold in half. Halfway lift. Big breath in to lengthen. Walk the hands forward, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide as you soften the knees. Breath in to stay. Stay, bigger exhale. You get to lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Roll the ankle, wiggle the toes. Look to your left thumb and step your left foot there. Drop your right knee down. Reach the hands up. Take a huge inhale. Left hand to your right wrist. Lean over to the left. And then reach the hands high. Bring them to your blocks. And it's that half split. You'll take your blocks halfway back. So you can pull your hips back, but have the anchor of your hands to reach your heart beyond your left toes as they pick up off the ground. And find that stretch, but let it be active in the back of your left leg. So take a full inhale. Long exhale. Start to look forward as you bend into that left knee. Take your blocks with you. Tuck your back toes, lift the back knee up. And then you get to take the blocks even further forward as you float that right leg halfway. So thinking like warrior three, but softening that left knee a little bit more. Take one more breath in, your heart goes forward, crown of your head further forward, and then you get to bend both knees, that Shiva squat, tap right knee behind the left. Now play with balance as you float your hands to your heart. Stand all the way up. Hug your right knee in and set your right foot down. Mountain pose. Arms down along your sides. Take that moment to pause, shrug the shoulders, open the mouth. Maybe do that one more time. Take a breath in, long breath out. And you'll reach your hands up. Huge inhale. Sit back into chair pose. Bigger breath in. Hook thumbs overhead, elbows go wide. Like that letter O. Huge inhale. Bigger exhale. One more big breath in. And then fold forward, empty it out. Take your halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back to that plank pose. This time, drop your right knee down. You'll spin your left heel to the ground, reach your left arm up, really open up through the chest, and then reach your left hand forward, creating more side body length. Maybe float that left leg to turn the belly on a little more. Take one more breath in wherever you are, maybe even look up. And then exhale, finding tabletop pose, hands and knees. Lift the chest on an inhale. Press through your hands, round your back, cat as you exhale. Tuck the toes under, now shift the hips back just one time. Rock the chest forward, sink shoulders over your wrists, and then come back to neutral. Tuck the toes, keep them tucked rather, and then float the knees, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Stay as you inhale. Empty and release as you exhale. Now we're coming back to that right leg, lifting on an inhale. Right foot to your right thumb. So a little bit different here. Bring your hands to those blocks. So you have a little bit of a lift. You're bringing like the earth up to your hands, and use that as an advantage here. Can you pull your right hip back in space? Soften your back knee. Now, keep your blocks where they are. Start to float the hands. Start to reach them forward and reach them up. So you're finding high lunge, just a higher pathway. Right hand to your left wrist. Reach up and then reach over to the right. And then release, reach the hands high. Now here you go. Your hands go back to your blocks. I want you to pull your hips back, find pyramid pose. So a little bit higher. You're gonna hop that back foot about halfway. Your hands can stay on those blocks. Think halfway lift, chest parallel to the ground. Now you can stay as you pull your right hip back or fold over your front thigh and drop your head if you wish. All just an option. You stay as an inhale. You stay for the exhale. Now reach your heart back forward, halfway lift. Take the blocks with you, warrior three. Left leg will lift, hip height, thinking of that letter T. Now take one breath in to reach the heart forward. I know you're loading up that right hamstring, that right hip, and then start to find Shiva squat. Bend both knees, tap left knee behind the right. Now here you go. Start to float the hands. Stand all the way up. You got it. Hug that left knee towards your chest. And start to step your left foot next to the right. Arms down along your sides. Shrug the shoulders as you inhale. Open your mouth. Ha. As you exhale. I want you to sit back into chair pose. Right away, hands to your heart center. Shift the weight into the left foot. Now I want you to pick that right knee up. Create that figure 4. We've done it a few times. So you're going to cross that right ankle right above your left knee, but drive your right knee wide. So think like you were in half pigeon. That's what we're warming up for. And then send your feet back like you were sitting in a chair. And you're not here long. I just want you to stay for a full inhale. A bigger exhale. Now, you're going to stand back up slowly. I want you to hug that right knee in and then press your right heel forward. Let that leg float. Maybe even reach the hands high. I feel like it helps. And then you just swing that leg back. I want you to open up to warrior 2. With your left foot forward, your right foot back. Your arms long. Your breath strong as you sink in. Stay as you inhale. Sink as you exhale. Now you get to straighten the legs, reach the arms high, parallel the feet, hands through your heart. Should feel good to just fold forward here. You can shake out the head, yes and no. Open and close your mouth a few times, softening the jaw, releasing any tension that exists, maybe even in between the shoulder blades. Let that just fall away. And if that feels good, you can soften the knees a little bit more and find your halfway lift. Think chest forward. And then see your left foot. Just for a moment, I want you to frame it, low runner's lunge, hands find the ground. And then step back to plank pose. Now we've been playing with this fun transition, so you have the option with your feet together, legs long, or drop your right knee down. I want you to send that left heel down or spin both heels to the right, reach your left hand up, side plank. So nice, maybe top hand, reach it forward. Now think about your top hip, your left hip, your left ribs, rainbowing or reaching up towards the sky. Thread the ribs together. Awesome, and then back to tabletop pose. You land. Take a breath in to lift the heart. Breath out to round your spine. Back to neutral, tuck your toes, just one little rock back. And shoulders rock forward. Find the middle. Tuck toes, float the knees, hips back and up. Downward facing dog. Oh, here you go, right to the other side. Left leg rises, take a big breath in. Left foot to your left thumb. Hands can find your blocks. I like the highest setting. And start to reach your chest forward. Soften your right knee. Float your hands off those blocks. And then you can reach them forward and up towards the sky. High lunge. And then it's your left hand to your right wrist. Reach up first. And then reach over to the left. Now reach back up as you inhale. You're going to bring your hands back to those blocks. Maybe drag them back if you need to, but find pyramid pose. Maybe hop that back foot about halfway. And you might even wiggle walk your left foot a little bit wider out to the left. And then think about your chest parallel to the ground. Those blocks help to find that length first. Stay here or fold over your front side. A full breath in to stay. A big breath out. We're giving the hamstrings a lot of love. So send your heart forward. Soften that left knee to just transition. Warrior 3. Take the blocks underneath your shoulders. Your right leg is floating. Take one more breath in to lengthen. And then Shiva squat. Bend both knees. Your right knee gets to tap behind the left. Now find your balance, float your hands to your chest. Stand all the way up. We need to hug that right knee in. Set the right foot next to the left. Whew, mountain pose. Arms down along your sides. Shrug the shoulders. Let them fall. Sweep the arms out and up. Sit back into chair pose. Now bring your hands to your heart center, right to the other side. So you'll float to the right foot. Bring that left knee towards your chest. And then send it wide to find that figure four. Create that table with your right knee for that ankle to rest on. And then sit back, think chest forward. So can your spine stay long here rather than rounding? Flex through the left foot. One more full round of breath to stay. Keep rooting through your right foot. And then you'll stand all the way up. Hug your left knee in first. Press your left heel forward. Reach your hands straight up. And then swing that leg back as you open up, warrior two. So after that work in the left hip, should feel nice to open it up. Stay for the inhale. Sink on your exhale. Now just straighten the legs, parallel the feet, sweep the arms up. With or without a bind behind you, it's your choice. You fold forward and let the head drop. You can take the feet wider to lessen the load on the hamstrings. And if you want a little bit more stretch, a little more support in the feet, you can shorten your stance. And it's just your preference where you want to land. So take a full breath in. A longer exhale. One more inhale to find that halfway lift. So release the bind if you have it. See your right foot, frame it with your hands, low runner's lunge. You'll step back to that plank pose. And this time it's your left knee on the ground or heels over to the left. Side plank, your choice. Reach the right arm up and then reach the right hand forward. In this side plank, you can float that right leg or lift your right hip higher. Think about your right ribs reaching higher. Take one more breath in, maybe even look up wherever you are and find your tabletop pose. Pause here, a round of breath to lift through the chest, to round through the spine. Take your knees nice and wide. This time you'll rock your feet all the way back to your feet, towards your heels, and then bow the chest, child's pose. Close your eyes. Land just as you are. And for 3. Reconnect with that long inhale. Long exhale, 2. Last one. And whenever you're ready, over your next round of breath or 2, meet me in downward facing dog. And so this time I want you to take your feet a little closer together in down dog. You'll lift your right leg up and back. Start to bend your right knee this time. I want you to peel that knee up towards the sky. So really open up through that right hip. And lift your left heel up a little higher. Now you're going to bring your right knee towards your right wrist. And you're going to take that back leg nice and long behind you so the toes will untuck. And then you have the choice to bring one block, since you have them, underneath your right hip to prop you up. And then maybe as you fold forward, you take that other block and put it underneath your forehead for support. So the back of your neck can stay long and your head can be in line with your spine. And your forearms can just drape, maybe even flip your palms up to encourage the opening of your chest. I want you to take a breath in to lean in, a breath out to find ease with wherever you are, physically, emotionally, energetically. Just take this shape one breath at a time, rather than focusing on when it will be over or what will come next. Play with that right here. You start to even notice where your mind is calling you. Be okay with coming back to where you are, right here. A long breath in. Maybe even open your mouth, finding that softening of the face, the jaw, the shoulders. And your last round right here, make it big as you inhale, expand. You exhale and land. You get to tuck your back toes under as you slowly come back up to long arm. Now think about bringing your right knee towards your chest as you press the ground away, and then back to downward facing dog. You can pedal the feet, maybe even take them wide and rock the hips side to side. Hips and hamstrings today. You'll take your feet together. Your left leg will lift. Bend your knee, peel open. Think knee towards the sky. Lift your right heel a little higher. And then left knee towards your left wrist. Your back toes untuck and they drive back to make that line nice and long, and you'll lift the chest. If you want that block underneath your left hip here, slide it under. Be on the lowest setting. And then bow the chest forward. If you want that block underneath your forehead, here is your chance to do so. Maybe even close your eyes. Again, remembering one breath at a time. There's no rush. No need to fix. To fight. Or to change anything at all here. Land just as you are. For 3. Creating that space in the breath, in the body, in the mind. 2. Last one. And this time you'll slowly come up to long arms, remove the prop if you have it underneath your left hip, And then rather than coming back to down dog, I'll just ask that you pour weight into your left hip and swing that right leg around in front of you. Sit up nice and tall in a seat, just relaxing the legs crossed in front of you. Hands to your knees. Take that breath in, fill up. Open your mouth. Find that ease. One more like that. Sit up nice and tall, lean in. And breath out to let go. And you can take your legs long in front of you or bend your knees, whatever feels good. Make sure you have enough space behind you and you can roll all the way down to the ground. Now, if you want that little neck roll for the base of your neck, like right underneath the curve of your neck, a neck roll with that blanket, I should say, rather. A little pillow for your head, of course. You can find that. If you want one bridge pose here, you have the opportunity to bend your knees, plant your feet. Just about 3 rounds of breath as you lift your hips up, gazing straight up towards the sky. And if you'd rather not take a back bend, whenever you're ready, or once you've completed your bridge pose, start to heel toe your feet wide and knock your knees together. Closing your eyes, maybe arms like goalposts. So open through the chest, take a full breath in, expand. Breath out to land. And then you know your body, so you have the next 3 to 5 rounds of breath to stay right here or find any other shapes, movements that you feel like you need to complete your practice before you find stillness, before you find release. And if you are ready to get there, or when you are ready, take your legs long, arms down along your sides, palms can flip up. Back of your head is heavy. Eyes are closed. Shavasana. Allow your next breath to be just a little bit bigger. And send a little bit of energy nice and slow to your fingers, to your toes. You might even rock your head side to side to wake yourself up. And to start to bend your knees, you'll roll to the side of your choice, but keep your eyes closed if you can to lessen the distractions. And you'll just slowly make your way up to a seat, sitting up nice and tall when you're there. And I came across this reading recently, and I wanted to share it just because it spoke to me. And I feel like I can speak to so many others, no matter what you've gone through, no matter where you're at, no matter where you're going. You're so hard on yourself. So take a moment, sit back, marvel at your life, at the grief that softened you, at the heartache that wizened you, at the suffering that strengthened you. And despite everything, you still grow. Be so proud of this. So whether those words land on you or not, just know that you are growing and you grow through what you go through, wherever you are at. So take that breath in to fill all the way up, sit up nice and tall. Open your mouth, clear it out. Bring your hands together in front of your heart just to honor yourself one last time for showing up to create that growth. And then bring your thumb tips to the center of your forehead, maybe even lift your chin. And a reminder, of course, to be kind to yourself, to share that kindness with others in your own way. Namaste. Happy Monday.